Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Corn. Here. Underwood.
Here.
Gilman.
Here.
Chasm.
Present.
Lehman.
Here. Agenda, approval of agenda. Anything to add other than? Funny or not? Not to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
And I. And is there any further discussion on it? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, passes. Conflict of interest. I have a conflict of interest on tonight. Public comment. And we have public who would like to comment. Okay, and Tyler, would you read the rules for him and then you may comment?
Any person may make an advanced appointment with the board regarding road commission topics for a regular or special meeting in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. If an appointment is made, the topic will be an agenda item. The following applies to public comments. 1, please state his or her name and township or district. Topic must be relevant to the road commission. Individuals are allowed to speak once for up to 3 minutes on a single topic, which may be extended by the chair. A group addressing the board requires a designated spokesperson who may speak up to 10 minutes. The board will not act on any item from the public that is not on the agenda.
Okay, go right ahead, sir.
Okay, my name's Randy Kurzman. I live at 4012 Sweeney, right at the south end of Hazrat Beach, and I just wanted to express gratitude for the work that was done to repair the erosion at the outlet of the beach. And I've been working with Andy Smith on that, and he was very responsive to get that done. And went out and surveyed it and determined that the high water mark was such that he could do the work beyond that effectively and made that happen. So I just wanted to express that in general support for the drain study that he's going to be working on to prevent, that flooding in the future.
Thank you, sir. Yep. Anyone else? Hold public comment. How about the 7A appointments? Mr. Smith.
Good evening. I'm Andy Smith, Grand Traverse County Drain Commissioner, serving currently. Thank you for the invitation to be here again for an appointment this month. I'm pleased to report this month that my hearing has improved greatly from last month. My wife thinks my listening is still off, but I'm still under doctor's orders, and maybe that'll get cured too. Not all the way there yet. I'll probably need hearing aids, but I'm hopeful that much of my hearing will come back. In your packet are those items that you authorized me to prepare for your consideration tonight at our last meeting. There are 2 items. One is a resolution that is in parallel with the 2015 resolution that the Grand Traverse County Board of Road Commissioners executed to initiate the expansion of the Cass Road drain in 2014. The other item is an actual petition. So the resolution authorizes the execution of the petition. The petition itself authorizes the drain commissioner to commence activities consistent and in compliance with the drain code. And I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. In your agenda package is not only the items that I drafted for your consideration tonight, but there are mirror documents from 2015 and the Cass Road example. So we covered much of the background information last month, and though I couldn't hear your comments, if you want to repeat them tonight, I will hear them. I am listening and I can hear.
Commissioners?
Mr. Smith, I'm looking at your email that you sent us to earlier regarding detailing the procedure. And you mentioned assembling an independent board. Who typically serves on that board, the board of the permitting?
Persons that are recruited by the Drain Commission that are capable of, not only willing to sit and take testimony and from pro and con, and then make a determination. In the, I wish I brought it with me, but in the instance of the Cass Road drain, there are persons that are disinterested in the outcome of the proceedings, but are community members knowledgeable about the aspects of this project. Examples of persons that I'm going to be talking to soon about serving as board members for upcoming work on all the drains. Ideally, this is a board that serves, takes testimony at more than one drain board of determination meeting in the same day. Because I have to assemble them, I have to pay them, I have to get a court reporter. We have to take testimony in evidentiary fashion for potential future claims of administrative procedures. So these persons will be recruited, for instance, maybe a former county health department director who could weigh on the merits of necessity with respect to public health. Perhaps persons with public safety backgrounds for public safety concerns, which are the bases for the drain code. It's a code that was created for public health, welfare, safety, and convenience. In addition, since this petition from, prospectively, a petition from the road commission, somebody knows something about drainage and roads.
Do you advertise it, or do you privately contact individuals that you know of who have expertise in different?
The code does not require public notice. I'll draw the biggest funnel possible because, as you might be well aware, it's not easy to find people willing to provide public service. And we want the best capable people, and that comes from reaching a wide audience.
But suffice it to say that individuals or property owners who are going to benefit from this drain are not going to be served.
They cannot.
Thank you.
They have to be disinterested persons.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else? How should we proceed here?
I think there's a separate. Still not a separate.
There's a
Again,
copy of the draft
it's
version.
informs the administrative procedure that I would propose, if you want to consider this tonight, is first a resolution. The form is created so it makes it an easy record for your board to maintain. It's very close in fashion and form to the 2015. The check boxes would be easier. And the language is essentially the same, with the exception of the difference in locations.
I think procedurally, though, it's not listed as an action item on the agenda. It's only listed as an appointment. We can certainly take it up as an action item with the board's consent.
Just get it moving. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna take action on this. We're gonna pass the
Resolution first, correct?
We only passed the resolution, yeah,
All right, I make a motion
or adopt.
to adopt resolution 2026-06-0.
Support.
Is there any more comment?
And that will be a roll call.
Okay, roll call, please, on that.
Underwood,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Hassan,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
One of your hardest appointments yet?
We've been tough, we're really tough on you tonight. I know.
Sorry for that.
What?
We're not your wife.
Thank you for your input tonight and your consideration of the matter. I look forward to a petition when the time is appropriate for that to come forward. And I do want to invite you, if you are interested in nominating and directing perspective, if there's a resolution, I'm sorry, a petition that follows, then a board of determination will be necessary if that comes to be. I welcome any input or nominees that you have to offer for that important role.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Thank you for your service. to our
Thank you.
community.
You too.
Right. How about the consent calendar?
The consent calendar is used to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together without discussion. Request by any person present to remove any item from the consent calendar for full discussion as an agenda item are automatically respected. The action noted in parentheses for all items remaining on the consent calendar are approved by a single commission action adopting the consent calendar. The manager recommends the following items be adopted. 1, minutes. 2, payroll. 3, accounts payable. 4, financial reports. 5, communications. 6, Act 51 report for 2025. And 7, 2025 local retirement report, Form 5572.
Are there any changes to the consent calendar?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to remove the special meeting minutes from the consent calendar.
I'd also like to remove payroll number 26-12.
And I would like to remove from communications the letter from Mr. George Fark. Are there any other changes?
Yeah, I thought about, I just wanted just a quick discussion of the MTF revenue, which is significantly higher than the last couple of years. So it's $6,000, but no, it will be okay. That's fine. Just not sure.
Okay.
We can talk
Alan,
about it.
you say that the communications, you're referring to that letter
Yes.
and you're pulling it, but it isn't in our packet.
Oh, it shows that I don't think they usually are.
Okay.
Oh, they aren't. Okay,
They-
I just
they're
wanted
not-
to
they're
make
not
sure.
usually.
Okay,
This was received on May 4th.
Okay.
okay,
I got one and Jason got one. It was about his subdivision.
okay.
And he asked for a particular response.
Okay.
And I hope to entertain some discussion.
Okay, so we could pull anything, not what's in the package, it's any communication.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Okay. All right. If there's no further discussion on that. Oh, did anybody from the public want to pull anything? All right. Hearing none. Kind of we call a roll on that, please.
I can make the motion.
Oh, we didn't have a roll.
I can make the motion to adopt the consent calendar with the removal of item 5 communications, item 2 from payroll, and item 1 from minutes.
Support.
Mr. Castle, yeah. Okay, now we can call for a roll.
Gilman,
Yes.
Chasm,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes. Well, you passes. Okay, Leonard?
The only reason I removed the item is because in the packet, the special meeting minutes, the date is wrong. It's labeled as Thursday, February 12th of 2026. It should be May 19th,
We'll get that. corrected.
2026. So that is the only.
Thank you.
So with that correction,
Payroll number 2612, the actual amount transferred was not 219,740.19, but $190,744.71.
Okay. And I have Mr. Vargas' letter. The community of Deepwater Point,
Yes.
wrote to Jason and I don't know if he wrote to the other commissioners, but they wanted a formal on-site evaluation and commit to a plan with a clear timeline within the next 12 months for the comprehensive repair or full resurfacing of these roads. We need to address this, and I'm asking for ways that the board would like this handled.
can you read that letter? Because I don't know what he's saying.
Do you want me to? Oh, so,
I don't have it.
Okay.
So I don't
Right,
know how I
right.
can.
Do you want me to have?
There are pages long signatures, essentially.
We did receive a copy.
Oh, you did get a
I
copy.
didn't.
Yeah, but
Okay. So, ultimately, they
When you were on time.
they want their road, that stretch of road fixed, and there's kind of the indication that they just don't want to pay for it. So I think
Yeah.
what we can commit to is a broad estimate, but if they want to pay us, there is an application fee to get a special assessment, to get the engineer involved, then we can provide them. I think we can provide them with that option. And again, I made that video, which essentially lays out how it can be done. And maybe we can just get them to look at that, even to understand the nature of what they're getting into. It is a long stretch. And if they want to completely resurface, it's going to be a considerable amount of money. That's not something that we're going to just be able to take on ourselves. But I imagine we can match if they're willing to go on it as well.
When I saw it on the desk, I think it was our last meeting or maybe the one before, I thought it was like a courtesy to give it to us because they were applying for an SAD. That was how I completely misunderstood that. So I thought they were saying, oh, here's all these petition signatures showing we're serious, like we have a lot of buy-in.
They want us to allocate the necessary resources.
Okay, so here's why I asked the question. Are we even if we had a magic wand and unlimited dollars, are we even able to fully fund a project like that?
Technically, I don't think so. I don't think we can.
It's a local road, so we need a 50% match from a township, but it's more of an SAD project.
Yeah.
We've explained that to residents out there for years. We've talked about this road, the whole SAD process. By the signatures, I would take it that they don't want to do the SAD process. They're looking for us to fit the bill for it.
Which would ultimately cost us $200 million because everybody and their brother looks on that end and say, on a road pitch.
It'd be great if we had the funding to take care of all our primary local roads and move into subdivision type roads, but unfortunately.
And that's why we have an SAD process to address roads like this. And that's how we have handled projects like this.
Have they contacted us to apply for an SAD?
I don't believe it's ever reached this. This has been going on before I was even manager.
You're right.
I could hear, I remember, in meetings coming up and stuff.
Okay, but we don't have an application.
The townships never approached us with $1,000 to go ahead and do the design.
And we haven't had any contact with like Doug White or it's Acme, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, I've talked to Doug
Who
about
doesn't
several
have a-
times, but
Okay.
yeah, Doug has not moved forward on the projects.
We have our SAD process on our website, right? Because we went through all that process and updated our website so anyone can follow that.
and honestly, I don't blame them. I mean,
I understand.
for trying to get something done.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been up there. There are worse roads, but it's not in great shape.
I mean, there's terrible roads everywhere. I can name you some in Blair Township.
Most of our
Some-
neighborhoods are in not great shape, and that's why the process was created of the SAD application, because most of them require a township buy-in.
So all I want to do is not ignore this. I just want to write,
Absolutely.
I want to write, if you want to direct Dan to write him a nice letter on our behalf, or Kylie, or I'll write something to say
If the board's comfortable with it, any of us could do it. It's a matter of essentially laying out, this is the process, and we want to improve the road system as well.
Absolutely.
My preference would be for our road manager to respond to those types of communication.
Right. Okay, I guess I thought when I saw it on the desk, it was just that they had an application submitted.
But
Wasn't Hampshire Hills was Acme Township, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And they followed the process over a long period of time.
yeah, they were here quite a bit.
And they-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the township is going through this process in the not distant past. Okay.
Great deal of compromise there too.
Yeah, I thought the road commission worked well with the residents in that point. They kind of it worked out over time.
Okay.
Started one way and ended up pretty nice.
Yeah.
And I think they're real happy.
Yes.
I will make a motion to accept item 1 minutes, 2 payroll, and 5 communications from the consent calendar.
Support.
All right, we have motion support. Any further discussion? Can we just say,
Yeah, we can.
all in favor of this?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Managers report, comments and staff reports.
Thought I'd first start off by introducing Neil Gilhouse. He's our new engineer manager.
Neil!
So let Neil give you a quick little introduction to his background.
Thank you, Dan. Good evening. Had opportunity to meet a number of you over the past few weeks, but not all of you. So, Neil Galehouse, a little bit of my background. I have 25 years of experience in public sector. Last 4 years, I was director of engineering with the Hingham County Road Department. Prior to that, I spent 7 years at the National Center for Pavement Preservation, which is at Michigan State University. So I hope through my past work history, I'm able to bring some new ideas and perspectives that are going to be of value to the road commission going forward. I know we've got a lot of work in front of us this year in terms of our normal program and responding to the flooding that happened this spring. There's a lot of urgency with Beitner Bridge and some of the other projects we have out there. In the short time I've been here, I've seen the staff and the dedication they have to this place, and I have confidence in our ability to deliver our program this year to the public. So I'm pleased to be here and look forward to working with you.
Yeah. Well, nice meeting you.
Glad to have you.
Just want to remind everybody, Cherry Festival Parade, July 11th, 11 a.m. We will be putting a float as we have the last few years, so anybody's available. Hope to see you out there.
Are you gonna bring out the stage to the whole?
Yeah, you know, to a little snow go. You know,
Okay. Any new paintings on flower or anything?
not that I can think of.
Last year, we didn't have the plow on the
Oh, we did.
plow truck,
No, that's right. No.
Yeah.
which I kind of like when we have the plow on the plow truck, just because it gives people a perspective of stay away from this thing. Like, you know, you're never really up that close to one,
So the haul in the trailer, we've had concerns
but it's hard.
with visibility.
Yeah,
and
it's hard.
people
And the
running
currents.
everywhere.
Yeah, it's hard,
It's not a.
but it is a good PR moment. Like, you don't want to mess with these things. You know?
It's perfect. Just get the swing arm down.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody's heard by now, but just wanted to talk about it for a minute. Obviously, Beitner Bridge, it did make it into MDOT July 10th. We're gonna have the opening. We're gonna know who won the project. So just very excited about that. It's nice to see that make it in there. South Airport, want to let everybody know that we made an agreement with Land Resource Engineering. And what we're having them do, we reached out to several firms, and Neil's been great help because he knows a lot of these other firms that we don't have locally that specialize in these things. Looking at where we actually had put all those sandbags and kind of armor that up, making more of a permanent armoring, so that next time we don't have to be down there doing that. We might have to catch some logs, but we're not going to be scrambling to do the old sandbag line there. So it's well under my spending allowance to contract with them, and we're going to come up with some ideas, a full design set plan, and we'll get that out to and see what it looked like. It has some armor that. I know it's our long-term goal is still to get a bridge in there, but this could be something that buys us 10 years to really get to that goal of just armoring that through there. So we don't worry about South Airport. Unfortunately, with the dams are out, there's other issues. It's going to flow better with a bridge in there. That's the last line of defense. It's going to see a lot of water over the next few years. So definitely going to do something down there.
Is that what it's gonna take to reopen the shoulder, or we'll be able to reopen that shoulder even before the armory system is put in place?
If it would stop raining so much, we'd probably feel comfortable with opening that up.
Okay,
Just we know that's soft through there, and
Okay.
just keep people off it.
so there isn't an actual repair that's scheduled that would need to be done before we open it, or?
No, we're just making sure it's nice to keep people off that, but this would be, I'm not gonna say a permanent fix for South Airport, but it's gonna be something that we can armor it up and get a good shape, even if we're not even sure what they're gonna come up with. That's why they specialize.
Right now, the
Right.
impression of how wet it is and everything, it's just kind of a thing. So,
Yeah, and it's interesting to watch it happen. We've had quite a bit of rain today. It'll be about 2 days and you'll see it water rise up over there.
it already started.
Pretty wild. So excited to get that one out.
Also wanted to talk briefly, a couple of policies that came up recently that we'd like to get the policy committee together for here in the near future. The first one would be property disposal. We'd like to get a property disposal policy in place for how we handle these kind of issues when property comes up or roadways, things like that. And then I'd also like to bring up and review the policy for our cost share program. The townships, things like this, which like the SABs, just like to bring it up and review it in several years and have a conversation. So the two policies we'd love to look at here in the near future. That's all I had for an update tonight.
Thank you. Yeah, you can ask. Sure. Do you envision, cost share part, you envision working in with the new neighbors, or, sorry, the name blew out of my mind. It's neighborhood.
I think that's a good conversation to have with that. Okay, funding looks a little different and it's just been a while. We've had several projects come out.
There's a little change in what we have to require, so you're gonna definitely want to have the policy adjusted to match that.
And that money will eventually flow.
Are we talking about the marijuana money?
Yeah.
Okay.
Towards the end of the year.
So Phil can
That's
probably
the thing.
speak to it better than I can, but right at this point, we're definitely not comfortable spending any of those funds because it says that they can pull them
Pull
back.
back, yeah.
So if we spend them, we'll find a way to replace them.
And they've collected, they haven't distributed anything, so.
And my understanding was the lawsuit was still happening, but they were still gonna distribute, not wait for an outcome.
They covers 100 million or something like that. And it starts to fill the first buckets. And once the first buckets are filled, then it goes to the next buckets. And we're in the lower buckets.
Right.
So just.
Okay,
Yeah,
Eventually we'll have a deal.
it'd be nice to have an updated policy
Yeah.
before it reaches those buckets.
that makes sense.
All right, commissioners. Start down here with Commissioner Gilman.
Just sensors on the lights seem to be working better. Our team is out there apparently doing some crackerjack work. I'm still hoping to see Copper Ridge turn off at 7 instead of 10, but that's a whole nother thing. But, everything seems to be responding pretty quickly. Your on-site road report here, but that's about it.
Mr. Casson.
Thank you. So I wasn't here for the May 28th meeting, but I was going through the minutes and I saw that the dog bone roundabout on North Long Lake Road got denied or did not get approved through the congressionally directed spending application. So I'd like the board to start considering the next steps.
I think we talked about it last month. And Joe was here then before Neil. And we said we'd like to have a plan before next year. So I had asked them to have an engineering RFP.
Similar to Zimmerman kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay.
So that we would early enough so that we could have that back to us to put in the budget for next year. And the RFP is gonna, and Neil can weigh in on this, but we wanted enough information to know what our proposed plans were gonna cost. That's how detailed the plans would be on it. And we had asked that it would be available for the budget cycles in November and December. So we went back up and Joe said we needed to have something out maybe by August 1st. That's what he told us. And I think we're
hoping to put a whole package together for roads we're going to design next year, get our 2027 projects out. We're going to have a few things in here like the Zimmerman, this dog bone, and have a whole package out. Hopefully sometime in August so that we can have design sets and plans back before start talking about the budget and actually have our roads designed so we can get our roads out a little earlier next year.
So what's the anticipated timeline for you to put out these RFPs?
I think probably be looking at August sometime to get those out. Right now, staff's we're in it now, construction season and busy, so.
Right. The can we talk about the staff report as well? Okay. So I was a little concerned from the staff report regarding the Cass Road project because it had to be postponed because of the detour that with the collapse of the Bikner Bridge. But it looks like, according under the staff report, that the postponement of the project would either require a contract modification to extend the contract time to 2027. And the worst case scenario, this is what really concerns me, is the cancellation or rebid of the project. And I guess I'd like some more information because I anticipate that if we go with the worst case scenario, which is the cancellation and the rebidding of the project, I'm not quite sure where it will come out in costs if we now put it out for a rebid based upon when we actually bid out the project and got the contract signed. I also don't know I guess I also like information as to whether it the contract allows us to extend the contract time to 2027, or are there any, liquidated damages involved or any other costs involved to go extend that, to modify the contract?
Well, this is the federal aid part of it.
Yeah.
You want to, Andy or Neil want to dive into that for us?
Anyone?
Where's Chris at?
Where's Chris? We're looking over there next to kind of think it's Chris.
Neil, do you have any thoughts? I probably shouldn't speak to it because I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak on that. I've only been preliminarily
Understood.
involved.
So a little bit that I've understood from this is that there's a couple of ways it can go. That's how the staff report wrote. That there is the potential that the winning bidder, that's the prices have changed. They pushed it out too far and they need to rebid it because they would lose too much money and they might want the project. I can't remember exactly how it works, but it almost in one scenario that makes more sense to do it that way than to try to force them, because I think there is the damages could potentially, you don't know, unknown for the over.
So this is a high federal project, right? So how does it work if we have to rebid? Do we need to have some sort of a federal approval? Do we have to go through the entire process to get the funds released again? Are those funds still there? I guess those
what's
are
the
a lot of
expiration of
questions.
the funds?
Yeah,
They gave us permission to move that back a year because of Beitner. So I'm gonna say the funds are still there.
okay.
I guess I've never been through this process and I don't fully have a great answer.
And the funds are there based upon the contract that was approved, correct? So if the contract had to be rebid and it came at a higher price, will those funds have to be kind of reappropriated?
This is kind of where my understanding is usually less like an 80-20. So if the project price went up a lot, 80% would come with it. So you might want that 80% to help cover the project cost.
So they'll cover 80% of whatever. So our 20% could go up.
It could go up, yeah.
Up to a max amount, like the MPO funds are capped, so.
And that might be where the balance of, does it make more sense to bid it versus what you have to pay the difference?
This is an MPO project.
It is.
Did they swap them? Are one of the other MPO projects, the one that was scheduled for next year, is that being done this year, or is there just not a project this year?
That's where I believe. It's kind of weird to say, but it's almost like Beitner, but that's a project too. It's not an MPO project though. I don't think
Because
there is a
it's
project.
a 3-year rotation, like say our year and then Leelanau County and then city, and then it goes back to our year. Obviously, we had a natural disaster, so we aren't going this year. Did we then swap with Leelanau County or City of Traverse City?
We had
Or is
already-
everything?
But the money's allocated, right? I mean,
That is my
so that's
understanding.
this year. The money's allocated this year.
That's the concern then.
The cast actually, there's two sections, and it's both an MPO. Leelanau County was not ready to go on their project.
Okay.
For 26, so we put cast on there, so we could both sections at the same time.
Yeah.
So really our funds were supposed to be 27 funds, we traded with Leelanau, so we pulled that ahead.
They get about $1 million a year for
Right.
these communities to spend. So whether they spend it 3 million in 1 year or 1 million a year, maybe it doesn't matter as long as we haven't pulled it forward, as long as the rules.
They typically don't carry forward. Usually the rural
Usually they're
deed bonds
limited,
are
isn't it?
filled up and normally, but I believe we got approval to
So that-
move it into the next fiscal year due to the circumstances.
Get it ready.
That's it.
Get it ready.
I believe Chris has a whole email chain.
Okay.
He's handling all
Yeah,
that.
if you can send that information to the board, because this is a big project that was gonna happen. And the other part is that half the project has been completed.
Yeah.
So I just think that we need to kind of keep on top of it to make sure that the funding is there. That, and then obviously come budget time, we may have to, if we have to rebid it, we may have to consider whether we have to budget differently for the project based upon the increased cost. So I think it would be helpful to the board as a whole if Chris or you or whoever it is can send us the information as to what the communications have been on with federal, state, whoever it is that you guys have been
Yeah,
communicating.
they were pretty implicit here. Earlier, they said it was conveyed that it is okay. They obviously understand we can't do it.
Yeah, yeah, and that I guess the postponement part is I understand. I'm more concerned about whether it's going to be modified, it's going to be rebid. What happens to those funds? They probably were okay with postponing it because there was no other choice. You know.
Well, and I suppose we could, if it's too expensive, if we're going to rebid it, we're going to have new engineers' estimates. We might have to change the scope of the project a little bit if we want it to be within the estimate of the funds, or maybe we'll have to pay more at that point. Right? I mean, Cass Road is a major corridor that needs to be.
Based on the bid pricing we saw today, it might come in less.
Well, that's great.
With some different competitors bidding, which is encouraging.
The last question I had was on Hammond Road. So is Hammond Road scheduled for this year, right? It says staff is still finalizing the design and preparing bid package. Has that been done, or what's the anticipated time? What's the anticipated construction start time to still get that project done this year? Understanding that we have had other issues.
Yeah, we talked to the vendors today when they were here. People are very interested in the project. We were ready to put it out, then Neil came in, did a final review here and put it out, and he actually caught something with the curve that we had to redo, so it delayed us. Right now, we're planning on putting Hammond Road out Monday, and then we're looking at having that come back in. Like July 9th would be roughly, I think, your 2 weeks that we usually put them out for. So we're talking about wanting to have a special meeting to approve Hammond, but also Whitener Bridge comes in on the 10th. So we want to have a special meeting to approve that same time, make sure that's all allocated. We need to approve a MDOT certified tech to oversee that project. So we need to do that. That's going to not be cheap to have a tech oversee that whole project or engineer. We'd like to approve both those projects at a special meeting in July.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. That's it.
I just have two things. The conversion to the cloud's going well. Larry was in here. We were gonna move from this system to this system.
I don't know this can be done yet.
Okay. And then my other thing is just this more informational because we don't have enough details yet, but the village of Fife Lake is actually at a public meeting. They've actually talked about becoming unincorporated. So Dan's done his due diligence on what that means towards us, and I think we could finally sit down and talk to them and see what they think. So if they do want to incorporate, what are our responsibilities?
That we take over the house.
So and how does that happen? What does that happen?
Like
But-
it becomes part of the township, right?
I believe it will become part of the town.
Okay.
So that parts of it will be difficult to incorporate into the system. I'll leave it at that.
They're an Act 51 agency.
Yeah, yeah. So,
But they wouldn't.
but they have had a public meeting down there, so it is out in the public. So,
Dan spoke to him. I said, the roads would be difficult for us to take over to even if you were.
They have to have smaller trucks as it is.
yeah.
Yeah, there's something they have to do with the pickup.
Yeah.
I don't know the plow truck.
So. We would have.
That's one of the reasons why they're probably considering Commissioner Lower costs they can't control.
2 items from meetings. Well, one's not a real meeting. I happened to be outside on Zimmerman Road and I met the owners of the property at the end of Zimmerman. And it was the morning after the ticker article came out, after the PC meeting at Garfield. They were there with Jeff Cockfield. You guys might remember he had represented, but I met the owners. They were super nice. They're working with a developer that's a local person. The owners aren't, and really excited to move forward with like single family homes there. So anyways, we were standing on it, so I happened to mention, I call it the Zimmerman Roundabout, exists there. And they really wanted to meet Dan and our new engineer and like sit down and talk about what the potential is. They knew that we had put out an RFP for, was it design services? I'm forgetting the right
Yeah,
words now, but yeah.
We're trying to put it out.
Yeah, so anyways, they really wanted to communicate and it was just a weird thing. We just happened to be taking a walk. So anyways, there you go. The other thing came out of the airport meeting, the other day. I like to report to them on roads around the airport that impact the traffic in and out of the airport. So I had talked to Dan about Hammond Road. And that town line is not a through road during that project and not an official detour. So we were kind of talking about that. And that brought up South Airport Road in front of the airport. And Dan and I had a conversation about it. And that Bob, if you guys know Bob Nielsen, the engineer for the airport, had conversations with you guys about potentially that being a possible MPO project for in 3 years or however this works out, 4 years, I don't know, when it comes around this widening of South Airport and kind of matching up the traffic pattern going from 3 Mile all the way over, because as you know, it widens up there. And Dan had talked about how that would require a potentially a fairly large scale property acquisition, but maybe there was a way of some widening or curbs and gutters and stuff. And so that just kind of came up and it got me started thinking about MPO projects. I don't know enough about how that works and I don't know how it impacts with the Cass Road swap or however we want to call that. But we should start thinking about potential regional projects. So I think South Airport Road is a regional. I think it's a major east-west corridor that people use and widening it is something. Maybe the dog bone in Long Lake. I mean, that's a major corridor in and out, even for people that live in Leelanau, which are part of the MPO. So I just wondered what the process is when it does come to be our time again, because Cass Road was already grandfathered and we had kind of already inherited that. How do we talk about what potentially projects would be in the Grand Traverse County Road Commission year and how that impacts having that extra $1 million to spend on our forward thinking project?
So we already have identified those funds for South Airport and that's.
Yeah.
That's stretch.
But would that be something, it wouldn't be an MPO project then?
No, the MPO funds, that's we told them
Yeah.
that we want to spend those in it's either 2029 or 2030.
How, like, I guess I wondered how, like, when you say we, like, it was you representing our county or did the group that sits at the
They
MPO?
have to vote on it right before you spend. the
Right,
funds.
yeah, for sure.
But for us, they want to know what kind of projects we're thinking. They want us to do like 30 years out.
Oh, wow, okay. See, that's kind of where I'm just looking for more information. Because we're working on our master plan and our strategic planning and moving forward. And $1 million is $1 million and it needs to be voted on. And I understand it needs to have a regional impact. So I was just thinking about things, that's all. So Bob Nielsen was excited. But I could not answer questions about how that process works. So that's it.
I only have one thing. Hyder and I met a couple weeks ago, started this steering committee.
Oh.
We sort of got organized. We have another upcoming meeting this coming Monday. We just sat down and talked about how formal it was going to be. We're going to engage the different subgroups, and I think there's some suggestions. We probably will. We're going to need a facilitator at some point. The county's offered. They have this new coordinator. It's not going to be coordinating zoning, but working to integrate different people in the community groups together. It's community development. So they've offered their services temporarily to do a little staff work for us. But eventually we're going to need, a facilitator to coordinate all the groups and influence. And I think that's my report. You want to add anything to?
No, I think that's pretty accurate. They are going to, I think it's Maxwell camp. Maxwell. It's kind of just to keep us organized because we'll have different advisory panels as part of the process and just to make sure that I think it's mostly to make sure that administratively everyone is communicating with each other and meeting minutes are being summarized and communication is going correctly. And like Alan said, at some point further down, there may be a need for a facilitator to kind of bring the project together. And mostly, I think it will be to communicate with other stakeholders, MPO, other organizations in the county and the region, to make sure that everyone is getting the information.
And to bring the relevant people to see, kind of sequence it together. I'll throw out John's site because, some Garfield planning has to be in this, and maybe John will assign somebody else, but those are the type of people who are going to have to be incorporated into a group with other planning people. Engineering, somebody, Neil or Chris or somebody is going to have to sit in on the road commission side in the engineering group. And, we don't particularly have a fundraising or grant funding or fundraising department, but whatever this costs is probably going to be kind of expensive, and we're going to look for financial help and resources to do that. And that's going to be an important. You see how quickly our money goes tonight by what we're going to prove, and the scope of South Airport Road, even its lowest level, is going to be expensive. The minimalist thing you could think of that might be allowed is still going to be quite expensive.
I think the important thing is all to note is that there was agreement on the committee that the scope of the project is kind of going to be limited to Logan's Landing and the boundary. So I think everyone was in agreement on that. So basically from there, we're going to start talking about who to invite and who wants to be part of the advisory panels. And
yeah, we didn't want, we all agreed Mission Creep or Scope Creep. I know Garfield Township has talked about the whole airport corridor as we drive up and down and think about it. But in this particular case, our steering committee is focused on what can happen to the roadway between and the associated things that might go with it between like Goodwill and Park Drive. That's it. Not going up further.
And the reality for those people on the other side, the southern side of South Airport Road, we get a little better flow through there. They're going to be better off anyway.
Yeah.
So it's going to help a lot of people, just us doing what we have to do.
Okay. That's the end of my report on it. Thank you. Grand Bay Promotions is next on the list. Does Dan want to address us? Does Susan want to address us? The communications committee?
I'll let you talk about this.
Okay.
I'll let
We Hyder, I know you weren't here, so just so you know, we had an ROI presentation last time, and we decided to they got some feedback from Alan and other commissioners, and they came up with a contract for this evening based on that. So I'm just recapping. So we looked at some of our reach and where we had gone. Alan had talked about aligning the contract with the calendar year rather than based on the month that it's signed. We had talked about the fact that we have a long-term plan of having somebody in-house that works on communications and probably grants, and we don't have that yet. We don't have the capacity right now for communications to go in-house. So we had even talked about just if there was a monthly amount, up till we got to a point where we would be discussing our budget and looking at potentially funding a part-time position or something like that. Or if we were more interested in having it contracted out. So it's kind of what you missed. So they're back. They had a presentation or a contract presented in the agenda packet. And other than that, we've just been communicating a lot because they've been facilitating a lot of the, like today, another interview out of the blue. So that's been really helpful. Anyways, that's something that we don't have the capacity for on our staff right now to do that. So
it's I have a memorandum in the packet. It's there.
Right.
Okay, so I just want to make sure there's
So that's what you missed and why they were back, because they were actually at the
No.
meeting. You were gone, and I wanted you to know why.
I
they
know.
did that.
No, I understand that. I think you said there was a contract in the packet. So I'm just making sure that it was a memo. It's not. I didn't see a
It
contract.
was a memo identifying.
Yeah, the cost of it.
And that in the way that it could be changed around.
Right.
Yeah.
So, taking the advice of the chairman, we went back through it and we'll take it to the end of the year and then board next year can then decide what they want to do. Hopefully, we're all still here. Or it can change. So that gets us to the end of our fiscal year or our calendar year, and we can go from there.
What is the manager's input on the communications?
I always kind of take them into our communications subcommittee. The closer's on their idea to bring it to it. I think it is nice when they do, like the news crews, that kind of stuff. That's stuff I like.
Today's an example where they got contacted for an interview. With Dan had it set up, so all Dan had to do was call in or show up, whatever. I can't remember how it happened, but you didn't have to worry about that. They got him prepped for him that he could go do it and go back and doesn't have to go back and forth.
The one question I have is, are you guys comfortable that that every month we need $4,000 worth of services? Or is it better if we have something on an hourly basis, because certain months we may not be utilizing them as much as in other months? And so we kind of pay on an hourly basis what we get rather than a $4,000 per month. And some months we may hardly use them. And other months we may use them more. So I guess that's a question I have is, do we want to go with a fixed month? Or is it more feasible to do like an hourly based upon the services we give?
If I may. I, as somebody is a reliable no vote on these, I would say that in this kind of thing, do we want to manage the hourly aspect of it? Or do we want to assume that they're giving us that value? I mean,
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
it's kind of like in a training, you have a retainer, and it's,
And some
to a degree, it draws.
But I can tell you, that's a good example.
But we may have like 8 or 10 or 20 things that could happen next month.
Which did happen last month to us.
Right. And so you use up that retainer and then you charge more, right? And when you don't use up that retainer, it gets rolled over. My question is it more feasible for us to pay on an hourly basis based upon how we utilize it?
And here's where it comes down. So in security installations and whatnot, you get what's called a service contract. Okay. And this is essentially a service contract. The service contract, it allows an organization or a company to simply set a number. This is what we've got going. And then the money guy knows exactly where we're at on it. Now, it may or may not be the most penny wise and efficient, but it allows for, frankly, just to get it out of mind. It's going to be handled. That's what it's going to be. And my question, of course, is just simply from Phil. I mean, you asked Dan, what do you think on this? I really value your input on this kind of thing.
I mean, when they were originally brought in, they were brought in to help get Dan in front of the news, and they were very successful at doing that and showing all the progress that we have made. I don't know the hours that tie back. Seems like some months there's more than others. I think Dan has been doing a great job, just quick updates with the community, and it would be, I would prefer like an hourly basis like we had with our HR contractor. So when we brought her in at $100 an hour, there were some times we needed her more than others, and we paid for the services rendered. We could still set a target budget amount. When I developed the budget, I just carried over the existing contract through May. We will be doing a budget amendment, and if this was extended, we would have to pick that up for this fiscal year.
So as of right now, you haven't budgeted for it.
I have not budgeted.
That's right. But you were thinking maybe we would continue. Okay. And I'm not sure about the retainer, but are you suggesting that we would pay an hourly rate at some price.
Yeah, I'm asking, I'm like, it's kind of, I'm throwing that out there for the board's consideration. Is that a more feasible option for us to go on an hourly basis so that at a certain hourly rate to be negotiated with Grand Bay Promotions so that we are basically paying them for services as needed rather than a fixed amount? And we may end up paying actually more on an hourly basis than $48,000 a year. I don't know how much we may utilize them, but at that point, it's up to us to determine how often to utilize them or not, because we know that we are paying them at a certain hourly rate. So if we have a budgeted amount, I don't know, $25,000, I'm hypothetically speaking. Well, Phil is capable of keeping track of how those invoices are coming in. And if we are nearing that amount, then we need to have a conversation with internally to say like, okay, either we do a budget amendment or we kind of, be more efficient with how we utilize those services. I'm kind of opening that up for a discussion if that's a better option.
Of course, I haven't talked to the firm, but could we extend the contract to the end of the year, and that allows them to then report back to us their hours?
I mean, this is their business model and how they run their business.
Yeah,
And
they're on a flat fee.
they came back at the last meeting and we offered suggestions and they changed their business model and came back with the suggestions we offered. So I feel like it would be like all of a sudden you're on retainer and we're billable hours and we're doing this. And I don't think that's how most communications firms
It's a
work.
fraction of what in-house would cost us.
That's accurate.
And
They did double or triple the work during the storm month. And then maybe they would during a month where we all hope we don't have it. I think it all averages out. And I think Jason said it the best way I heard, which is they provide the value and the value changes. I don't hate the idea. I'm just saying like, we've already dragged this, the contract expired a month ago. And we've already dragged this out and they've continued to work for us almost every day we interact with communications. And they've done it out of good faith. And now they come back with a new thing and I don't know.
Some relationships are hard.
I'll just say that communications has been one of our more successful things that we've been able to switch in the last couple of years. Yes, we had to clean up some things, but we've got it cleaned up, and I certainly would like the model to continue as is, at least to the end of the year. And then, like I said, I'm up for reappointment. I'm going to ask to be reappointed. May or may not get reappointed, so a new board can then decide what they would like to do.
So we probably need to bring this discussion to a close. If you want to make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the contract through December 31st with Grand Bay Promotions at a rate of $4,000 a month.
Are we paying for the, oh, sorry.
I will support that.
Okay, we have a motion to support. Are we paid for the month we missed?
Well, they continue
My
to work.
goodness, I hope so.
They continue to work.
So,
I mean, even if we don't approve this, that should be paid for.
no, I mean, that it's, we are not gonna not pay them for what they, for the month. But, I guess I want to make sure that I understand that it's up to the end of this year. And then in the interim, are we going to have a discussion with Grand Bay Promotions as to whether they are able to present a model? Because I don't want to be sitting here in December and having the same discussion. Well, let's extend it for another 6 months because while we think about
As
this.
the communications committee, we get the message. We'll sit down and talk to them.
And we had said we would talk to them prior to the budget, discussing the budget this
Okay.
upcoming year.
As long as we're going to have a discussion about them, about the likelihood of going on an hourly rate, and okay.
Yeah, I think when we signed up with them, they've done good work.
Yeah.
And it's been encouraging. I don't believe we ever thought it was going to continue forever. That there would be some terminus to it. But they're going to work with you.
Yeah.
And we'll see how this goes.
I'm not disputing the value that they bring, and that's why I'm not saying that we don't have a contract with them. I want to see if there's an alternate arrangement that can be.
Well, I'd like to be, I think that sounds good. Okay, let's, since this is spending some money, let's vote on it.
Chasm,
Yes,
Warren,
Yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Gilman.
No.
Lehman.
I'll vote yes, even though I want to vote no. Sorry, I would like to vote no.
You know, now that the contract is here, you do have steering committee stuff that you have.
Hey, don't think I haven't considered
Well, no, that's,
moments for the steering committee as we move.
well, they represent Grand Traverse County too.
yeah, well, and I will say this, I voted yes with the understanding that there will be a discussion with them about the hourly rate. That's the contingency.
We're happy to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and we're not trying to beat you to death.
No, I'm not. We just want to have options.
And I would just like to go on record saying that, it's been a great relationship. I feel very confident. We had the discussion today that there's been no negative news since our relationship began some time ago, 2+ years ago. So we're proud to work with all of you. And of course, we're tied at the hip most days.
Yeah.
And
We have a group
we
text.
absolutely would entertain any conversation.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, how about, G Ramsey Road Timber Bridge? Dan, are you taking that or Chris's place or the you? Nobody wants to take Chris's place.
All right.
You didn't know this was part of the job, did you?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It says from Neil Galehouse.
And right,
It does say from Neil Galehouse. It
Yeah.
doesn't say from Chris Elliott.
You're right.
So, you know.
Next month, you own this, right?
you don't get to call newbie anymore.
So obviously, I think we're all very familiar with the Ramsey Road saga here. Got doged originally, money pulled away,
Oh,
came
that.
back
yeah.
in.
Yeah. got it.
PRA.
The project came in, this time at double what the engineer's estimate was. So we thought it was dead. And the CRE came back and said, we'll give you the money to do the project. So we were quite surprised on that. They want to move forward with it. So tonight, I think we're just accepting the agreement. When it comes through the board stating that we will, work with CRA and, sign the needed documents. We do supply a tech for this position that oversees the project. That's our contribution to it.
So we want the board to authorize you to execute an agreement with CRA.
Yes, that's a great way to word things.
So we are going to get into an agreement with CRA, not AJ's excavating.
You're gonna approve AJ.
We're gonna approve AJ, but who are we contracting? Are we contracting with AJ or with CRA?
We're contracted with AJ to do the work and the money coming back.
Okay, well, there'll be two separate
Coming from
reimbursement.
CRA.
Got it.
They typically will draft it because of, there's so many other requirements that they have with their different funding sources. But it'll be similar to the prior, like Broomhead and East Duck Lake.
Got it.
So we've done, so move to award the Ramsey Road Bridge project to AJ's Excavating for $450,262.
I'll second that.
Okay, is there any further discussion?
I have a question for Phil, just out of curiosity. Where does their money come from? Because if we had a bid that came in double, we wouldn't have, what kind of pool of granting?
They pull from a bunch of different sources. I know, I believe, Grand Traverse Stand, they have a bunch of, other federal sources as well.
I'm just curious, because that's
The Broomhead
significantly
had
different.
probably 5 or 6 different sources, and some were as little as like $3,000.
That's where I think
Off the
about
top of my
like
head.
potential granting for us, because something like this, like Dan said, it would kill the project, but then they were able to just say, yeah, we'll come up with the funds. So maybe we can learn something there. I don't know.
Can I ask a related question? This goes back to your earlier question from a meeting before. Do you think they'd be interested in helping us with the other 3 that are still left?
I would probably say yes. Kim,
Oh, the ones by like Brown Bridge and all of
The
that. you
other
mean?
3 on the river.
Yeah,
overs at Brown Bridge and Supply, and what's the third one that we have? It's the same old as us.
Checks, land.
Checks.
So.
I mean, like, I met with the, Timber Bridge. Out of the Crime Bridge this morning.
Oh,
Yeah.
was Bob Kren, the guy up here?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
They went out with the Brown Bridge and.
So far, we've had a really successful relationship with these folks. I would encourage the.
And they have
Management.
opportunity for grants, we don't,
Right.
because they're getting them from the conservation side, which maybe we don't have eligibility for or something, but if that's the way we can do it and be reimbursed, I mean,
Just don't want to drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's vote. Let's vote. Kylie, please.
Corn,
yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Chasm,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes. Frankie Road.
All right.
Frankie Road, yeah.
Hi,
We were, pleasantly surprised when we've seen for gas prices and things like that. We were it's gonna come in over engineered estimate. It did come in a little under its engineered estimate, so we were excited about that. Had 3 bidders. That was awesome. They all showed up in
Oh, wow.
person with packets. So that was nice. J&N Construction was the low bidder. They're very excited to get moving on this project. They'd like to do initial meet sometime next week and maybe even start the project the following week. So
Oh, wow.
I'm loving seeing another bidder.
How,
Yeah.
how long, Dan or Neil, is this project gonna take?
our goal is to have it pretty much wrapped up before school starts, but
Okay, so we're gonna start in mid-July and finish August.
or kind of beginning of September, probably.
Talk about tight with Mullen. I mean.
Yeah, $800 difference.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Who is doing their paving?
Believe Molon will be doing the paving for them.
So there's again.
Who is J and N? Are they local or?
It's this guy, Alan McQuestion, who's really a big guy. And he has 3 firms that bid on
This is a
stuff.
downstate person or?
From Gaylord.
Yeah, Gaylord,
Okay.
yeah,
The
yeah.
company is from Gaylord. They're
Yeah.
headquartered in
Yeah.
Leroy, right?
And I'm thankful for.
I don't think
their
I've ever
back with
seen
us.
their
Yeah.
Sydney doing
Because we-
the.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
these are the 31
So that
projects.
was project works out well for
Okay.
them because the first step in Frankie Road is doing the pipe work. And their crew
It's already,
is in a down low and then they need to go back again after. So they have a couple weeks right now free time. So they're
good.
looking for
Oh,
something
this is
to do.
great.
So if things go well, we're thinking it starts mid-July and ends before school. That's great.
That would be the dream.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm talking about
Close to.
the smooth idea. I mean, we all know that things happen.
Motion.
I'd make the motion that we accept J&N Construction LLC's bid for the Frankie Road project for $977,277.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Gilman, support by Commissioner Chasm. Any further discussion? All right, Kylie.
Underwood,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Chasm,
Yeah.
Corn,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Chasm doesn't sound like corn, so I apologize for that.
All right, let's try I, East Silver Lake Road.
So this project is one kind of like we've done a few last year. We did like the cut across there over to South Boardman, and where we put on shoulders, we chip seal it, seal everything back together, and then we do an overlay. And we put this project out, and this one also came in under engineer's estimate. We're excited about it. Only one bidder on this one, which was Elmer's. So we're recommending we can move
And they
forward.
came in under the engineer's estimate.
It is, yeah, we thought that project was gonna come in right around $1 million, which we fully expected to see.
Which portion of, is it the entirety Silver Lake Road?
No, it's,
I think it's Rennie School to Silver Lake.
yes.
Arc.
Yeah, no, to Silver Lake,
Oh,
no,
road.
the Silver Lake Road,
Okay,
the
got it.
intersection there, Green
Okay.
Hill.
Yeah,
Okay.
like
This
Francisco.
was reconstructed in 2011 and has not held up.
Yeah. But putting.
We've spent quite a bit of money on it.
We're putting shoulders.
Putting the shoulders. in.
And we're putting the shoulders and chip sealing.
Yeah,
That's good.
And paving,
And
and paving.
So, yeah, it'll.
The road is in very
I
bad
think it's
shape.
all the Texas burrito wrap or something.
Yeah,
it is
Texas
just a
burrito,
lot.
and
That's a
in
pretty-
front of the fire department for
That's-
obvious reasons.
That's a pretty good run too. Isn't it? 2 miles.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check with
I saw that.
Good.
And are they using our guy for, the guy we used for the chip seal, or do you know who, do you or Neil know who the chip seal guy is gonna do?
We've already talked with Foreigner, they're planning on coming back for it.
Okay, I mean, that's up to Elmer's.
It's up to Elmer, but
Totally, but I was just curious.
yeah,
I'll make the motion that we award Elmer's Crane and Dozer Inc. For the Silver Lake Road, East Silver Lake Road project and the amount of $898,574.
Support.
Motion by Gilman, support by Thorne. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Gilman,
Yes.
Chasm,
Yes.
Corn,
Yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes. Gagamog SAD. Jay.
perfect. So this is the one where we already did our mix of fixes out there to try to help them out. They've been trying to do a project out there for as long as I've been around. I've been hearing about this for 10 years. We kind of just try to find a way to make this one happen for them. Mix of fixes. So we did a wedge and chip, partnered with the township on the first section of the road. The second section where it's more dense housing and stuff like that, the township didn't have the funding to move forward. So they did that portion as an SAD. And we did a bunch of tree work.
I was
out
gonna say
there.
the tree work. We did
We did a bunch
yeah.
of tree work and ditching. It
Yeah.
actually turned out more than we expected.
Yeah.
But it looks good. Problem with that, it was so closed in that road. We told them that without doing that work, we don't want to do the project. Your road's not gonna outlast the funds you're putting towards it.
Took some big trees out of there.
Yeah.
Is it Whitewater or Acme?
That is
Whitewater? Okay.
Yeah, so once again, we had three bidders come in, all three showed up, let's get back to Sam. It was nice to see, and we were very happy with what we saw.
I love competition. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, Elmer's came in strong on that one.
All right, make the motion that we accept Elmer's Crane and Dozer's bid for the Skagamog Point Road SAD in the amount of $347,236.75.
Support.
Okay, motion by Gilbert, support Underwood. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Chasm,
Yes.
Corn,
Yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
It was kind of interesting. We had Frankie Road one day, and then the next day we followed up with this project. It was all the same bidders, so we were wondering, the two that lost to the one that won it, did they reshuffle their pricing and come back even stronger?
No.
We were curious. We were surprised the prices.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. This is really good, and the SAD people are gonna love this. I mean, that's a huge amount of difference.
It's nice saving.
Have you driven down through there?
Have we fixed Marty Contentious site?
We have it. We've talked to the Times Elders. I think we're just waiting to talk to him to make sure he's good with it. And we were talking on waiting till the road's done, so we don't put it back in and redo. We can't just
Thank you.
Who's signed?
Thank you.
A guy.
Okay.
Used to own TC Products.
You got a
Lives
hold
out
of him?
there, and somehow Dan said it was the nicest sign on the road.
Oh, yeah.
How
You got
a
it.
tree or a truck or I don't
No,
remember.
I had a tree that should have went this way by all rights, and it decided to go this way.
Yeah, I got it.
And when the kid hit that sign dead center.
Yeah, it took it out. I saw the photo.
We cut hundreds of trees in there, so, and some of these trees, it just isn't right.
The road is totally different. You should drive down it.
And
Totally different.
They're gonna have a little
insisting,
bit.
and insisting that the tree work be done
Yeah, we have.
is the
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
thing to do.
Yeah.
Do you remember on East Shore, when we redid that at our expense, there were practically people chaining themselves to the trees out there. That's not the right thing to do. We've got to clear
It
that.
was a hard negotiation. I mean, it was a small little tunnel of trees out there. Residents really loved it. If you go to
Okay.
I think we will all in all be a nice project.
Really nice.
Okay, let's talk about Brooks.
Oh,
Yep.
this one, every time we think we're getting somewhere, we feel like we take two steps back on this one. So we just got a resolution minutes before the board meeting from Bill Hand. Came in, we thought we had everything settled. The fact that, I guess long story short, there's two roads out there. We know for a fact Brook Street we can't do because it meets up with MDOT rail. You have to have all property owners' signatures. They did not get the signature from MDOT rail. So we can't do anything with that one until they do that. Or they have to contact MDOT rail and have a,
We did our part. I mean, honestly, there's only so much we can do.
Yeah.
So,
Now the alley, they do own all the property around there. We verified they did get all the signatures for that one. But we can't just turn it over to him, is what we're finding out. That actually has to become a private road to the individual because that one is flat.
It's a platted road.
It's a platted road. At first we thought we didn't know it was platted. We thought.
Okay.
Or through it. And
The alley is actually a platted road.
Yeah, and it's only referred to as an alley, but if you find out some old documents, it's like gas.
Gas lamp lane.
Yeah,
Oh,
What's the plat? Do you know the name of the plat?
Blackwood.
yeah. That used to be the village.
Oh, it's the village plat.
so can we, with the hearing, going through the hearing process, then abandon it or?
We can do, we can turn the alley over tonight. And say that's a private road and that,
I mean, are they gonna be using it as a road or do they need to build across? Is what I'm wondering.
they need to build,
I think
that's
they
all you're gonna
need
get
to
into
build
there.
something on it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So they will
This
have,
goes into the extra driveways.
so they will, if it becomes a private road and if he wants to, which he doesn't want to use it as a road, he wants to build on it.
Right,
He'll have to bring a private vacation action to then vacate that road, amend the plat of Village of Blackwood
okay.
and.
So this is the
vacate
process we have
road.
to go through.
But that's his issue, but this is
And
that
this just
would be it.
more and more layers, so something we thought was gonna be really.
But the first step for us, the only step for us is to abandon this road and then whatever action he has to take, he has to take. And it's a private road.
I wish we had a policy on privacy, property disposal before we did
What we're
this.
doing. Yeah.
Okay,
Because I thought initially we should sell it to them, not give it to them. We have, when we need easements near our things, we have to pay for them. And when we give up land, I think the road commission could, it's trivial, it's not gonna be a big amount, but I think we should have that.
Well, we're giving up the right of way easement. That's all we're giving up here. So if you're gonna charge them, we're gonna charge them for the cost of relinquishing our easement. Because we don't own the land under the road.
I thought we do because it's a plat.
No, we don't own the land. We don't own
we
the
simply
land.
have the right of.
We have the right of way on this,
Who owns it?
Yeah.
Oh, Blair.
the whoever created the plat.
When
And
I-
then
yeah.
the property owners who
Okay,
bought,
I see what
he,
you're saying.
he owns the land under the plat with a subject to our right of way easement. So we don't own the land underneath the road. That's the issue here, is that we're only abandoning our right of way.
That's fine.
So it's not our the easement is our property,
The easement.
but what's the value of that easement?
Yeah, different.
Would be the cost that we've had to put into it to get to where we're at.
Yeah, I agree with you. If we own the land underneath it, which is kind of what we did out in Acme
Right.
with the Taco Bell thing. We owned that land underneath it, and I think we negotiated a price there.
I don't think we did.
That one was platted, right? Too,
That
wasn't it?
turned out to be platted and.
Yeah.
MDOT owned it at one.
Yeah.
Oh, that-
Always-
yeah.
Because it was like old 72.
Yeah, there was somewhere where
We
we
just
owned the
built
land.
our
Yeah.
claim to the right of way.
Yeah,
So wouldn't we follow the same action or are they not comparable situations?
I don't know whether, I thought that road was a lot.
Do we ask him for the fees that we've been, or would we just say, forget it, just
I
get rid of it?
I just think we told him at the last.
Yeah,
meeting
you just
that
said.
we were gonna do with it.
And we're gonna create a policy.
And in the policy, we can do that.
Yeah,
When I was at Blair a couple weeks ago, I wasn't paying full attention to all the items, but they did something with this. Cause I remember Gas Lamp Lane and Old Town Trail. What would the township have been doing?
Well,
I think he probably got a resolution of support or something, because Nicole was here at that
Yeah.
meeting. And we asked Nicole and she said the township is in favor of it abandoning.
Yeah.
So I think at this point, we should just move forward.
Yeah.
with it and be done.
Okay, I get that.
Well, I say,
so what do we need to do here now?
Yeah, what do we?
Oh, that's about the traffic light.
you have the resolution, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Everybody has-
New resolution.
So I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 2026-066-08 to abandon the alley located between Brooks Street and Old Town Trail, known as Gas Lamp Lane in Blair Township.
Their support. Okay. Motion, yeah, some support. Underwood.
There's a resolution.
They accepted the name for it. That's what
Yeah,
it was. They accepted the name for it.
Right.
Horn,
Yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Chasm,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Chairman, I think I made an error at the beginning of the meeting because I think I used that resolution number for the drain. And
Did you have the number? I think.
Yeah, you used the number.
Oh, you
Yeah,
used the
I wonder
number?
where he got it.
Oh,
from.
okay, I was,
I
okay.
was like, okay, I
I
was
reading it up. How do we correct
You
that?
did this, hold on.
I think I made a mistake.
I think you said.
Well, I probably made the mistake. Let's see.
I think I just looked down and saw the number and went, oh, that's the resolution. It went
I
for it.
was really impressed with you on that. I thought, wow, how,
I don't see a number on the
I
line.
don't think he
There
said
was no
it.
number? Okay.
So,
I don't think he did.
Just approving
Yeah, he
that
just said the resolution to adopt. Yeah.
That's what he
you
did.
said numbers.
He said number,
He
maybe.
did
Well, if it didn't get
100%
recorded, then it
I know I
didn't
said
get
a number.
recorded.
So how do we correct that? How do we correct that?
Well, it wasn't recorded, so you don't.
It wasn't recorded. She's not showing you as
Okay.
saying the number on the
All right.
record.
I just want to make sure we did it right. I
And if it
apologize.
does show up, we'll just,
It's all Joe's fault.
we'll just pull the minutes and amend the
Okay.
minutes.
My apologies.
Kylie, one thing, this is not super important and you'll probably notice it, but this was a cut and paste resolution and at the back, the notary is for County of Lapeer, Michigan.
Well, within hurry, huh?
Well, I have an attorney
Oh, yeah.
state for my job
It-
and
it-
it always says
um,
like Oakland
But I
County.
think the version you have,
I know.
we
Yeah.
sent it to the attorney. We just got.
So
it.
anyway,
If you don't
it's
have the
not
final
me,
copy, but yeah, thank you.
Cause I always miss that.
All right, sorry.
All right, Dan, specialty sign policy, L.
So this is something that comes up more than you would expect, people requesting specialized signs. What we want to do is create a policy that only goes off the state standards of what is actually considered a sign, the MTEC standards. So we created this policy and it pretty much says that we will only put up MDOT recognized signs within our right of way.
I'm gonna put in a request for a sheep sign and a big horn
Yeah.
sign. I'm gonna find every,
I want the
and
cowboy.
a seesaw sign. Wow.
So Dan, how, just because I had never heard of this acronym you said until, we started looking into this. How does this fit in with like blind child in area or something like that?
That is not a recognized sign.
Okay.
So they would not be
A
able to.
deaf child in.
So when you see those signs currently on the side of the road, those were placed there, I'm assuming by the road commission at some point, but they didn't fit the standards,
Yeah.
the allowable standards.
Let's say with signs that you get numb to them, there's just a sign everywhere, nobody pays attention
Right.
to them, so they're not doing anything anyways.
Yeah.
Was it a change in policy at some point with the state or whomever sets these standards?
I'm not sure. I think at a national level, there's kind of been more movement in that direction. I don't know that it's explicitly stated, but like Federal Highway puts out a national MUTCD and then Michigan has an NMUTCD. That's largely based on the federal one. There's been studies through National Cooperative Highway Research Program on that, and just generally it's the proliferation of signs
Right,
create,
agreed.
Yeah.
people to ignore more of what's out there, creates a false sense of security by the
That's
people that
like
have
being
them placed.
downtown. Yeah,
And
go
so,
downtown,
yeah,
there's a perfect.
there's more of an effort to try to push away from
I
having
see.
those signs. Can't even recognize speed limit signs.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I'm all in favor. of
I
it.
gave up on my duck crossing sign. So
I will, I'll make, you need a motion, just to put the straight policy now.
Yeah,
that's what I asked.
So I'm gonna make
We're
a
all
motion
over
that we adopt the warning sign policy as presented, which follows the guidelines of the MMUTCD.
Okay, is there support?
I'll support that. And I'll just say that the policy committee did review it. Obviously, we reviewed it for the general language of it. We defer to our engineering for the MMUTC
Right,
compliance because we are not engineers, but we did review it and there were no concerns.
And we thank you, policy committee, for.
So somebody would fill out this request, but only for the signs that are approved by the acronym. Okay,
And that's effective immediately.
Yes.
nice.
Motion Underwood, support Castle.
Yeah, I think we should do a roll call.
Okay.
The official policy.
All right. Kylie, call a roll. What can we?
Underwood,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Chasm,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes. Okay, the intersection, Euchre Hamlin Road.
Oh, that was not the email, yeah.
Yeah. So this one came up with the agenda setting that we are moving forward, trying to acquire that land there because it was a temporary easement. The conversation came up, do we need to have a formal decision from the board that we do want to keep the light there? Oh, yes.
I just need to be in
Kind of
a
your
discussion.
question. Okay.
Yeah, so they want it. I mean, Blair wants
Has
it.
advocated for
Mhm.
it strongly. Yes.
And I believe that the property owners are willing to give the land. Is that correct?
The existing, the little add-on,
They'll do it if we leave the light up, but
Yeah.
if we don't leave the light up, they don't want to.
they want the stop signs. To the property.
I think, there was some discussion among us and it didn't meet the warrants on,
Yes,
but it was almost there.
Well,
And we could,
So there's like 5 warrants total, is that correct? For that, and there was like one under every single one.
was that the intersection?
I was down
It
one.
was down one, okay, but it's just like that intersection.
Yeah.
Yeah, you come up that hill and you're just barreling along and it's, oh, there's a light right there. And stop signs in the snow and everything are hard to see sometimes, honestly. I think we need to have at least a flashing light there, just so that it's above and people can see it coming. a little bit.
Yeah, I think we can, I think somebody who's skilled at that can make that decision, but minimally, I said last month, I thought we should take it and let it flash.
Yeah.
And if it stays a light, it's a light, but it can't be knocked in the snowy and the drifts and the everything. It's gonna increase safety at that intersection.
I remember that when we had, the engineer from, I think she was from Wade Trim, Bridget, I think it's her name.
Yeah, the one.
Yeah.
And she did a whole presentation on the Cedar Run and Gray Road. And I seem to remember that one of the things that initially she said in her report was that the warrants are a guidepost for us. They're not a mandatory requirement. And so I think we should consider them in that same light. Yeah, we may not technically meet every single warrant,
Or
but if there is a demonstrated need for a light in the interest of public safety and vehicular safety, then we should consider that, and not just be tied to a hyper-technical requirement of meeting every single warrant. It's not a requirement, and you can correct me, or anyone can correct me if I'm misstating that it's not a mandatory requirement. It's a guidepost, and there's some flexibility there.
I would, from an engineering perspective, I would take it as this is what we strongly should be following. There's a number of warrants out there. I mean, there's a 4-hour warrant, an 8-hour warrant, a crash experience warrant, a user delay, warrant, pedestrian. There's a number of different warrants out there to look at for signalization. She's right in the sense that as a board, you can make a decision regardless of what's stated in the warrant to signalize. I think the issue becomes the liability after. If there's a crash out there, does that subject the road commission to liability if those warrant criteria aren't followed in establishing the signal?
So we could be more liable than a set of stop signs. I mean, because we have a flashing red.
I think if we choose to make a permanent signal there and we don't follow the warrants to put them up, then I think that subjects us to liability out there potentially.
And what about
And
flashing?
technically, yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm talking about signalization. I mean,
Yeah.
flashing, no, there's not.
nothing there.
You can do that without any.
Yeah, because it's always been 633 is always I mean, it's a go through, and then there's always been a stop sign. I mean, if we put a yellow light flashing for 633 and then flashing red for Euchre/Hamlin, I mean, I don't.
So basically what you're saying is that if we choose to put up a permanent signal at an intersection that does not meet all of the relevant or applicable warrants, if something happens and someone attributes that crash to the presence of a light, And that could subject us to increased liability because it didn't meet all of the warrant requirements.
He did, is that Hamlin or Hilltop?
Hamlin.
Hamlin. Is it Hamlin?
Yeah, Hilltop Strip Road.
It's Hamlin and Euchre.
Yeah, I know you heard, but I just.
Hilltop
By
one
the-
earlier that we've already done.
37 by the
Yeah,
trailer.
and,
Okay, all right.
Okay.
So my understanding is we would receive the equipment at no cost.
Sure.
So we would receive the equipment at no cost and the property that we need. For that, and we do have a letter, I think, was in the packet, but I can say, obviously I go to the Blair Township Board meetings and there was a pretty good conversation, on a day when all the emergency services guys were there because they were doing their pinning ceremony, plus the full board members, all of them, asked that if we would consider keeping this light.
Yeah, Nicole wrote to me too. And
Yeah.
we're late.
Can I ask, are we allowed to accept this, but then if we want to put a flasher up there, change it to a flasher?
That might be harder.
Oh, you're gonna get so much.
We're gonna heat no matter what.
Yeah,
We don't leave that, if we don't leave that light up.
But I think if you're getting a property, if you're getting property based upon the promise that we're gonna put a permanent light, and someone gives a portion of the property and then we change it to flashing light, they could break up some sort of a breach of an agreement or contract because you're not putting a fast one.
No, I
wouldn't
didn't in
really
that regards, I
go
didn't know
that
what our latitude.
Well, could we ask the property owner?
We
if that would
could-
be acceptable?
You're right, that would be the
Maybe that's
way
where
to
I'm
do
headed
it.
with my thought.
Yeah, I think that if we ask them that, whether they would consider, I'm not gonna vote for a permanent signal if we have an engineer sitting right here saying
Yeah.
some increases increased liability if it doesn't meet the law. So, I want a traffic light.
Yeah.
I'm in favor of a traffic light there, but I'm not going to make as a board member decision.
So flashing light would be an acceptable.
It would be acceptable.
Because if you go back to essentially, it's
Right,
original
there's
rules.
no
There's
criteria.
no
there that-
criteria for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'd have to go back and add, that's
Yeah.
where I'm headed with my thought.
Yeah.
pattern. We'd have to go back to the landowners and say, we're gonna put flashers
Yeah.
there, we're not gonna.
Or we could just put it in flashing mode. I mean, that.
It seems to me we should make that
But
flag.
it still would be working, so. To be transparent, we should tell them, but.
We should,
we would
that's
have to
what
go
they
with
are.
a flasher,
So I
not
guess
an actual.
that's-
Could we just
Can
do
we
that,
do that?
ask them if that would be okay, and then we go forward from there?
that's why I need to be on the agenda. So-
Yeah.
Yep, good call.
All right.
All right, schedule special meeting.
Oh, there we go.
And this is for our bid
Beitner and Frankie.
fight here in Franklin.
Oh, Hammond. Yeah, yeah.
10th or 13th, what days of the week are those?
So it's a Friday and a Monday.
I am unavailable the 10th.
Was just
I don't think I'm necessary though, but I'm just saying.
13th is probably fine though.
The 13th is the day.
I can't do 13th. That's my wedding anniversary.
And the 10th.
Come on,
The 10th is my.
Oh, you can
husband's
have a meeting
birthday.
without me.
Yeah,
That's perfectly fine.
the 10th is my husband's birthday,
Yeah,
so I'm.
so
yeah,
we're
I know.
there,
But I mean, if you guys are.
How about
You
Tuesday,
people with
the very
relationships.
next- How about,
Oh, you ask Candy.
how about Tuesday, the 14th?
Tuesday, the 14th? Can we do that, or is it gonna be soon enough? I mean, seriously, I mean, the day can make a difference.
One day.
You only need 4 people.
You only need 4.
Yeah, so you can have a Monday. I just won't be
Let's get this sucker going ASAP, and we all do it in the 10th. as far as I'm concerned.
I don't care.
I can do the 10th.
I'm free on the 10th, I'm free on the
I know,
14th.
so we just.
I mean, it's a Friday night, you guys have at it.
Well,
Well, can we do it or we do
it during the day?
I'll do it.
Friday
I
night?
don't-
Yeah, I'll do it. I don't want to do it on a Friday night.
So what,
10th.
I know.
we do it in the morning, what?
If it's Friday during the day, I can go.
Yeah, we
We do
just
it
do
Let's do
it.
Friday during the day.
Yeah, I'm good
8
during the day.
a.m.
That'd be outstanding.
7 a.m.
That is terrible. That is
That'll work.
not what
I think
got.
you're going the wrong direction. How about
Wow.
some reasonable time, okay?
Yeah.
10:30, 10, something like that.
I can't, but you guys could.
Oh,
8 o'clock.
What does Dan need?
if we do it on Friday, we'd at least do it in the afternoon.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Because the bid
opening.
The bid opening, because Lightner's not getting open until
Oh.
10:30.
Okay, we'll
They
give a
probably.
few hours to do it on Monday, the 13th.
Okay.
Yeah, do it on
Okay.
Monday.
All right.
You guys can.
What time?
8
8 a.m. or 6 p.m.
Oh, okay.
We're on Monday?
8 a.m.
Yeah,
8.
I'll do it. These guys are here. you
But
know.
I may or may
We're not
not
taking-
show up.
Well, if
That's
it's
okay.
8, I can do 8 a.m.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's do
yeah,
8 then.
I mean,
All right.
I mean,
8 a.m.
or somewhere in the
8 a.m.
morning.
Monday sounds good.
Yeah.
That works.
Okay, that's a reasonable compromise.
Because I don't think I'm doing anything on my wedding anniversary day.
Wait till he finds out Holly had like a breakfast schedule.
No, no,
some
no,
romantic
no, she'll be at
breakfast in
work.
bed.
Yeah, it's just in the evening.
Tell them to bring the ex-Florentine. All right.
All right.
All right, so we don't need to vote on that.
Right now.
I got Kylie will just send us,
Yeah.
I guess,
Okay, so 8 a.m. Monday, July 13th.
yes.
Okay.
Cool. Okay,
That
now
works
we're to
then.
O, and I'm gonna ever speak to O. It's number one, it says all afterwards, and it's, I guess all could participate. This was, Commissioner Corn came to the meeting for the agenda. At the end of that, said she wanted to have a meeting about this, attorney-client communication policy and procedures. And I have concerns about it. I don't think it really met the way our agenda is supposed to be formed. I don't think it met the agenda rule. There was apparently a memo which Commissioner Corn is carrying and has had a chance to view and think about it, discuss. I don't know how many other of you have. I really think most of the things that are on, that might be contained in the memo, should be discussed in an open session. I think the public has a right to know what goes on here at the road commission. And I don't think, an attorney memo, and I understand that people call attorneys all the time, but I don't think it's been vetted very well. I know I as the board chair, I haven't had a chance to look at it or review it. And I thought if there's a memo, it should be addressed to me. I think all of us, if it's concerning, should have gotten it at the same time. And I did speak to Attorney Head about that. So I'm proposing that we delay this. And if we discuss the things there, we should discuss them in open session. I don't think the attorney has much relevance. I guess that's what I said.
Yeah, I looked at this and I was like, okay, so under what, there are very few things that are appropriate, I think, for closed
This
session.
would be one. Yep. I'm going to make a motion to enter into closed session to consider a privileged communication from legal counsel pursuant to MCL 15.248H.
I'll second that.
There will be a roll call. And it will need 2/3 vote to
Gilman,
pass.
No,
Chasm,
Yes.
Horn,
Yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Lehman.
No. Motion fails.
Motion passed.
No.
Didn't you say-
2/3. It needs
Two-thirds.
2/3.
Oh, 2/3, I'm
Two-thirds
sorry.
is 3.3 people. You don't have a third, 0.3 people. You need 4 yeses.
so the question is, do we want to discuss this now or do we want to reconsider? Do we want to distribute the information from the attorney to the commissioners to then discuss them and probably an open session?
I haven't seen it,
I haven't seen it. I
so I don't know, but I was willing to consider it in closed session, considering that it was an attorney-client privilege communication. I don't know.
I just can't even imagine what would be a memo from an attorney.
But it's on the agenda if the motion fails.
Yeah.
I mean, unless there's a motion to remove delay, then that's a motion, that's by simple majority. So someone makes a motion, make a motion to table it and then see if it passes or not.
Well, the motion failed as it is now.
No, to go into closed session.
Yeah.
What
So maybe we can have the motion.
What Alan is suggesting is to table it. Essentially, so that.
Well, it's kind of automatically tabled unless we open.
No, it's not automatically tabled, it's on the agenda. It's the motion to go into closed session fails. But we can now, that means that it gets discussed in an open session. It's still an agenda item.
Okay,
So
let's discuss it.
let's discuss it. If it's in the
Yeah.
open session, let's discuss it.
There is only one person that I didn't want to have to discuss this in public in front of, and it's our chair. And out of a courtesy, I worked really hard to make this happen in a legal and private and confidential way. And I would beg you all to reconsider and trust my judgment, my ethics, my intention. When I come to the board with a simple request, I have never placed an item on the agenda before. I have never asked the board to consider this before. And I did this fully in cooperation with our attorney to make sure that everything was done professionally, accurately, and lawfully. So I'm disappointed that there wasn't any consideration to the fact of all that I went through to make sure that this
So
was put on.
that begs the question, are we then as board members entitled to go to the road commission's council and
Yes.
seek
If
advice?
I agree.
as
I
Commissioner
agreed to
Thorne-
go into the road. I agreed to go into the attorney.
Okay.
So there was at least two of us that have agreed to.
And I also checked with our attorney to make sure that this was a proper and legal way to have a discussion.
If the concern is about the board chair, then yeah, then another commissioner could go to an attorney and seek advice on it. There's nothing in a bylaw.
There's nothing in this, but see, the thing is, there's nothing that says about discussion,
Yeah, I don't.
during the board chair.
I asked the
This is
attorney what
simply
you
about,
write.
this is simply about policy and procedure. And frankly, that's wide open and it doesn't really give us
That's
any
okay.
information to work with.
We don't have to do it. That's okay. I'll place it on the agenda next month as an open.
But
And
it is,
I apologize.
It's an open item right
it's an
now.
open item right now.
If you want to
So if
discuss.
you wanted to, if you
Can I
wanted to distribute,
distribute
yeah,
my memo?
yeah.
Well, I will tell you one thing. I am not the only person that wanted this memo to exist, and I am the person that stepped forward out of respect to you. I am disappointed that this is how it's going.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, if it's gonna get aired in the public, then it's gonna get aired in the public.
I don't think some things need to.
I understand that, but the motion failed to go into closed
I
session.
certainly would have wanted the consideration
Yeah.
from the four of you to have this in private.
Yeah, so,
So my apologies to you, and this was never met with any disrespect or be public. I also did not think it was appropriate for our staff to be here for me to step in.
This should have been brought out and open anyway, honestly.
Didn't find it necessary. Bill Henn was on call to be there with us in closed session. If the board so chooses, I could continue that call.
No, I don't think that's-
Okay,
I know it anyway, that's just me, I'm just one guy.
what was Bill gonna talk about?
he was going to introduce it
Oh,
and take questions because I felt that there were some questions about these policies that many of us had, and I thought it was a fruitful and appropriate way to discuss those questions with our attorney. And he also very much wanted to have a discussion with our board about this.
Okay, so just my quick scan of this for the public's interest is essentially concerned that Alan has contracts with the road commission in some way. Is that the understanding?
That's not what I said.
Okay, why don't you explain what the concern was?
Well, not only myself, but I can speak for me, received several complaints from multiple departments regarding concerns about being in positions that they weren't exactly comfortable with regarding situations at the road commission. One of the things that I wanted to have highlighted was a really important thing that we all need to learn, and that is why Bill thought he would recommend some training. And that would be under short answers, item number 2. Of course, this will all be made public now that you guys made this decision. And it says, no individual member of a board of county road commissioners may conduct routine road commission business outside of a public meeting for 2 independent reasons. First, the Michigan County Highway Law requires that a board act only as an administrative board. Its function is limited to the formulation of policy. We set policy and we pass budgets. This does not include conducting routine road commission business, which is reserved for the road commission's highway engineer or superintendent. Second, the board and its individual members may only transact business at an open meeting under the Open Meetings Act with an approval of the majority of the board. The other part that I had questions about had to do with the scope of the Board of Road Commissioners. I didn't know the answers in order to answer the questions that were asked of me, and I wanted all of us to hear this. And it is very important for people to understand that road commissioners listed under number 2, role of the Board of the County Road Commissioners and its members. The Board of the County Road Commissioners is created by statute, and its role is likewise limited by statute. Under MCL 224.9, the Board of County Road Commissioners must, in quotes, act as an administrative board only. As an administrative board, the Board of County Road Commissioners is limited by statutes that creates it. So the board can only exercise powers that are expressly granted to it by statute, or that are granted by necessary and fair implication from the statute. What that means is that there's very limited scope of activities that we can do. And when the staff has concerns about road commissioners stepping in to provide duties that are only by law allowed to be performed by the engineer or the superintendent, there was questions about that. I didn't know the answer, and as a road commissioner, I am absolutely allowed to contact legal counsel to have all of us have this information. Then it goes on to conflict of interest. I will be very clear with you. This is not anything that I know about. So I thought that it would be important to have that listed there so that we understood the role. I'm going to finish. We understood the role of receiving bids, how the bids are delivered to us, who communicates with the bids, and how the bid process is done as well. That would be the first thing. The second thing would have to do with interfering with accounts payable or finance. We can't do that. We cannot interfere with, for instance, driveway easements. We have to have somebody that is certified by the state of Michigan to do the negotiations. We are unable to do that. I do not believe that anything was done purposefully, maliciously, or with intent like that. I just wanted to have a private discussion of a reminder of these roles that we are allowed to have. We have very narrow roles to play.
I still think this is an open session item. I mean, you know, the reality is if you want to challenge the fact that, and I know exactly what you're talking about now. I do.
There are at least 5 different cases.
And the thing is though, if you say you've heard complaints from particular employees of the road commission, you then are also engaging in the same kind of activity that you're
That's
arguing
correct.
against.
I am. That's
So-
why I
so-
went to an
so
attorney
what-
for counsel.
Well, okay. The reality is, he can't do anything by himself. I can't do anything by myself. I can't make anything happen. Now, one of the things that in the field of expertise, he has as much expertise in roads as anybody in this room. Okay, so I think he feels, you know, it would be almost irresponsible to ignore that expertise and those years of experience in roads. And there are concerns, and he brings it up, and he's the chair, and he feels like those things he could speak to. Now, we've always engaged a little bit, you know, the chair engages with the manager. The chair has a little bit more influence. Okay, that's the way it's always been. Okay, now if you want to say, okay, let's go.
This
Let's go.
isn't about me or just.
No.
I'm not asking you to defend him, and I didn't.
I'm not. My point is this: it's just understanding the skill sets we have. You have a set of skill sets. You have a set of skill sets. You have a set of skill sets, and he has a set of skill sets.
But I can't direct our staff to do anything.
And he doesn't direct our staff to do anything. However,
Well, there
He's-
have been complaints, Jason, about being directed not to make a payment on a contract.
okay,
You can't. do that.
have we had a problem? Okay, fair enough.
You can't
Okay.
do that. You can't do,
Okay.
we have a contract that requires payment. You can go to.
You have a contract that did it in the ultimate public trust. You should not be paying contracts that do not meet the
Then you need to
specifications.
bring it to the board.
I want to bring it to the
But
board.
you can't tell the staff member, don't make a contract when they have
Well,
consulted with a
I
lawyer.
would have
to say,
already brought it last month. I was trying to,
You know, you need to then
Nice.
bring that is a board discussion. There was also an issue about you approaching a property owner and offering them $1,000 for a temporary grading easement by the bike in the road.
I talked to no property owners.
Or a renter who you said to a renter, you better tell your landlord to sign this agreement, otherwise this project is not going to get done. And then you came back and you told staff that let's just pay those people $1,000.
I discussed it with staff before it was ever offered.
But again, the point is, we are a board here. We are all equals. You are the chair, you control the agenda, you control you have a little bit, but that doesn't mean that you get to just direct staff and sideline all of us and go out and tell staff, pay them $1,000, do this, do that. No,
We have a responsibility to the public to ensure their business is done, I believe. And we've had some serious problems doing the business of the public.
then bring it here. Then this is the forum.
I will bring it here
Then this
far
is the
more
forum.
often.
Yes, bring it here. I think the problem is the issue is that the staff is being told, don't do this or do this and they don't feel comfortable
One time.
following that. Well, there's the bid issue with the sand, then there's the grading issue, then there's the driveway permits. People drive permit guy is being told, issue a permit on this driveway because the road water is coming to, we should go out and ditch it. No, these are all discussions that should happen at the board level.
I suggested that to the manager and he said, no, you guys read the emails. It's all public and email.
Right.
Bring this to the committee. The manager said, no.
Bring it to the board. Then you bring it to the
I'm
board.
bringing it- Okay.
And bring it to the
I will
board.
bring it to the board. far
And there'll be a
more
motion and then we'll discuss about it. I
That
think
sounds
that's the
great.
appropriate way to deal with it.
often. I've
I
always
think-
said I wasn't the most experienced.
And no one is doubting your experience in that. Let me be clear. No one is doubting your experience in that field. But I think it's the manner in which it's being done is kind of creating an issue with the staff where they feel because you are the chair and a commissioner, just like anyone else, they feel that they feel pressured to then follow that directive because they feel like they're being told by their boss to do something. And I think that's not appropriate for the staff. I think we shouldn't be putting them in that situation. That's for us as a board to decide. If you have concerns about how permits are being given out or how that permitting standard is being applied, then let's come bring it to the board. That's where policy comes in.
I'd be glad to do that.
And I
had a little, not with him, but with her, a little bit of conversation, and I'm like, yes, that's fine to have the attorney come up with this, because we do have very defined goals. Now, I know that I spend more time with the association than anybody else here. They hammer that in over and over and over again. An example, Ski Mall Point, I got a complaint about the roads, the trees being taken out. I didn't tell you folks. I just said, hey, Dan, this is going on. Let me know how it handles, what happens. And he's obviously taking care of the issue. And that's, I don't have to bring that to the board because he's gonna. Okay, we'll-
I've suggested those things,
So-
and it's been ignored.
So, but
Right.
when I hear rumors of undue influence, pressure, whatever you want to call it, on the staff, that creates a problem with me because that's not their job. Their job is to execute the policies we put in place. And they have free reign to implement that unless there's something that happens. So
Yeah, I think then we definitely need to bring a lot more of that to the board then, because quite honestly, this is a governing board.
Yeah.
And this organization is going to follow our lead in the sense of what our priorities are,
Right.
period.
Absolutely.
Okay, I don't want to get our knees cut off or get our legs cut off at the knees when we see a problem coming down the pike, because there are constituents out there who make a lot of noise in unfortunately the wrong places. I think what he's been trying to do is to not make it a problem for the board. And you could bring that up and you could say that, and this is fine. This is fine right here. This is a good discussion. I don't have a problem with this. I don't think Alan has a problem with this either. And so this is not something,
Jason, maybe there's other people that didn't want all of the information that I wanted to share out in the public.
but maybe sometimes that has to happen. Okay.
it's fine.
Maybe sometimes that has to happen. Maybe sometimes those other hidden things need to be brought to light.
I think.
Okay. And we need to deal with it out in the open right here. And maybe that's just how it has to be.
It's necessary.
And a good example of why the board is important is we were all headed towards, we should leave that light there. Till our engineer said that's going to leave it open for liability on a safety issue.
Information.
And when I heard about the driveway thing, I'm like, well, if the engineers wanted to come in a certain way, there's a reason they wanted to come in a certain way, because they're following those rules. And we don't want to open up anything outside of what the rules are, because it changes the light, just like the light, it changes the liability of what's going to happen here. And so that was one of my big concerns.
We all
Like,
have
we
to make
have
sure
to-
the rules are evenly applied, and they have not been. I'll give you 100 if you want, but I don't want to. The rules are not evenly applied.
I agree with that. I think we need to talk about policies. I agree with that. We had a good conversation about that, and I think you're right. And I'm
willing to take a little beat up on this, frankly,
But that's
because I'm not
That wasn't my intention.
super,
Well, and not to cut you off, I guess I want to be also clear. If constituents are emailing us, which they do, what are you going to, about a particular road, about a particular issue? I'm by no means suggesting that every single email be brought to the board. That would be silly. That would be overly burdensome. It is absolutely within each commissioner's right to forward that complaint to our road manager.
We do.
And that's, he's the person. He's the person. And say, Dan, received this request. Can you please contact the property owner? And in my experience, Dan then see if it's a email that comes to me, he responds, he CCs me so that I see that he has responded to the property.
Never
with an
failed me.
explanation.
Yeah.
100%.
It has happened. So that is completely appropriate. I think what we're talking about is a little bit more. We're going on site and talk and
how do you know how these things look until you visit them?
yeah, but it's
Drive
one
down the
thing.
road, it's
It's
easy.
one thing to go on the site, but it's one thing to start engaging
Right.
with certain property owners on a project that is really within the purview of our engineers and people who are trained to do that. I understand your expertise are, but you are the chair, you are a board commissioner, you're not an engineer, you're not a staff member. And I think that there's a demarcation between that two, where none of us should be going and engaging directly with the property owner on an active project. Because there are rules and regulations, especially with highway projects, that are very strict.
Skigamo Point, the complaints I got, I gave them to Dan.
You're fortunate, he solved them.
And Dan took care of it. But whatever Dan would have decided would have been.
But if it's not getting solved, Alan, it's not getting solved and the problem is still there, then that's when it comes to the board. And that's what I have done. Community, roundabout is a perfect example, not getting solved. Okay, I'm going to bring it up at the board level. So I think that's.
You and I also discussed that.
Yeah, exactly.
I said, I think our staff failed us on that.
Yeah, so
we decided a couple of years ago to do this and it just faded away.
Yeah, and
Not any one particular person. Sometimes the bureaucracy just eats things up.
There have been many instances where this board has directed staff to do stuff and it falls off our radar, and then we don't get an update on that for months. And then someone contacts us, or a township supervisor will contact us, someone contacts us, and then we'll say, oh yeah. But I think I also recognize the fact that staff has 100 things that they're dealing with on a daily basis. And sometimes people forget. I'm willing to give them grace on that. And so the proper avenue is bring it up at the board, or I found that I can also contact Dan and say, Dan, what happened to that motion that we passed on this issue a few months at this meeting? Haven't heard from it. And he's very good at following up. With me, I don't know how the other commissioners' experience has been. I think the issue is that there is a line that we have to stay on the other side of. And that is, we can't interfere with the jobs and functions of the staff people who are engineering, permitting. If there's a concern about it, we bring it to the staff. If it's not getting solved to your satisfaction, it comes to the board.
That's excellent. A perfect example for me with traffic lights.
Yeah.
I mean, I bring it up here.
Right.
I don't really bug anybody about it otherwise, do I? No, I bring it here. And by golly, things are happening. So
yeah,
I'm actually kind of happy.
Because I think this is a more effective forum, to be honest with you, because then you have four other of your fellow commissioners saying, yeah, why aren't we acting on this? What is going on there?
So sometimes I think those subjects can be embarrassing, and I have not wanted to bring them up for the staff.
I think we're all adults. We are all professionals. If it's job related without any personal attacks or anything like that, we can do it in a professional manner. It's not personal. Everyone has a job to do, and we expect as a board for them to perform their jobs. And we are here to set policies and goals.
I do have very high expectations.
And I think we all should, but we should also take into account our limitations in terms of our staffing and everything else. And based upon that, do the best we can. And, sometimes we don't always get the answers we like. Yeah.
Jason, I think I take a little offense to what you said about me stepping out of my role by taking complaints from staff. The staff works for Dan and Dan works for our board. And if their complaint to Dan, the only way he can remedy it is question our board. That puts him in a bad situation. It was appropriate. I did not overstep my bounds. I specifically sought counsel to assist them with this. And I also think that we're being very dismissive of staff. I think this was a very disrespectful way to do it. Because they now have to work here. They now have to work here and be worried that there's retribution.
Because you brought this up. I mean, honestly.
I brought it up because we have staff members that may want to leave their job.
There are other ways that it could have been brought up.
I would love to know how, because I've been struggling with this for 2 months.
You could talk to him directly.
I can't talk to him directly about staff complaints.
Well, you could say, look,
You talked to Joe about it.
yeah, you talk to Joe.
Because I can only pick one other commissioner.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not going to violate the Open Meetings Act. And I don't think this was done appropriately because the very most important part of this memo is the conflict of interest part. And I find it hard to believe that we've never had anybody disclose a conflict of interest on any of our votes.
Have we had a conflict of interest?
Have we?
I don't see.
I've never had.
I read the conflict of interest rules and I don't believe so.
So that
At
there
least
is,
for me, I don't know about you or Joe or either.
I mean, and if he has a financial interest, I mean, he has to let us know. And then
do you
we
sell
take that.
materials to any of the companies that have bidded that we have voted on before?
Do I work for some companies? Yeah,
Do
I
you
work, I
provide
work, I just made materials for Elmer's.
Okay.
I
So
make material for a lot of companies. Don't have any financial interest in for anyone I voted for or against.
So there was never a project we approved for which you were providing material.
No, now, other than the one that the board engaged me to do to make gravel in our own gravel pit.
Okay, well, no, I'm
Remember
talking
that
about, any of the contracts that we have approved for different projects, you weren't providing materials that you didn't disclose to the whole. Okay.
well, the rules are here so that we all have them because I didn't have easy access to them. Okay. And I think that that's a really important thing that we do. And that's why it's on our agenda.
Well, I just don't think we need to call an attorney every time we have a disagreement.
Jason, have I ever called an attorney?
I don't know. Other people have though. And we had a chair once that called the attorney every other day and it was costing us a lot of money.
Jason, I concurred with one other commissioner because I'm only allowed to talk to one other commissioner. I contacted the attorney and asked if it was appropriate, if I needed to pay for it individually as a citizen, that I was happy to do it. If I needed to engage my own attorney, I was told not to, that I fit within the scope. And I went out on a whim to do this properly, effectively, ethically, respectfully.
So I disagree with
I
that.
and I disagree. You're not the board's cop.
Yeah.
So thank you. I'm ready to move on.
I'm not ready to move on.
Well,
I want to say one last thing, and I think I'm deserved to be able to say it. I want to thank the staff for having the courage to come to one of us or two of us, because Joe also received complaints. I want to thank them for that, and I want to assure them that there will be no retribution for them being able to speak about concerns that they had about situations that they were put in that they felt were in violation of the state law under what we are allowed to do. And being this dismissive of me, I'm used to it. I'm dismissed on this board all the time, which is probably why I'm the commissioner that was spoken to. But to be dismissive of our staff is not appropriate, and I feel absolutely the need to say that now. This has been very dismissive. You can be dismissive of me or call me the board cop, but all I did was listen to people that work for us and provide the service that we ask them to do. And if they don't feel comfortable doing it, where are they supposed to
And
go?
I think we work for the public.
We do.
And the board works for us.
And how are they going to be able to provide a service to the public if they feel that by doing it, they could be jeopardizing the law?
They also need to understand the chain of command. The public and the voters vote. And then the county commissioners appoint us. And then we're here. And then we appoint Dan, only the manager. And Dan hires the staff. And that's how it goes. That's what we are passed down the chain. The staff does not govern us. We govern them.
No, the laws govern us. And that's why I said, yes, go ahead. I think you're gonna do that.
laws.
I need your help here,
Black and
Joe.
white. Because we can't, you cannot create a hostile work environment for these folks.
How am I creating a hostile work environment?
Well, it
How do you
can,
get to
it can
choose
head
that?
that way. So.
well, and I'm not gonna fault the staff for approaching a commissioner. I
No,
think
absolutely
that's
I'm
not-
just making the
no,
comparison. I'm just
no.
making the comparison. There is, we deal with things in the way that we deal with things. Sometimes,
Listen, I got told that one of the commissioners hand delivered one of the bids. If that's true, that is absolutely wrong.
And that bid was not sealed.
I did deliver.
That's absolutely incorrect. It should not ever, 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 ever happen. Because
And it put the staff in a bad position because they knew.
Yeah, I think if the staff is feeling if the staff is feeling that they are being asked to do things that they don't feel that are in compliance with the legal requirements, then they absolutely have a right to reach out to any of us and say like, what should we do?
Or they could reach out to the manager and the manager could say something.
Well, apparently, yeah, they could. They could,
that's
but
the ideal. You know,
you're right.
so.
That they could reach out to the manager.
Staff did ask me if they could approach commissioners, because they have to ask me, and I told them that they're free to approach.
Yeah,
commissioners
and see, that's the
If
thing.
it was-
I don't
I was
really
on-
have a problem with the staff talking to the commissioners,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying at the same time that you're saying that you know, arguments, for example, on the sand. Okay, so arguments on the sand.
Bring that up.
I'm just saying, when we're talking about that with either the staff or with Dan or both, and we have a construction committee and we have an engineer, we have a superintendent, and we have the manager in the room. Okay, we're talking to everybody. We're not just talking to the manager. We're talking with everybody, and we're trying to get answers from everybody. We have discussions with staff. That's how it's how it happens. Now, the buck stops here.
Mhm.
And that's it. And then the next dollar up stops with us. You know, this is, you know, I'm not trying to be dismissive. I just think this was not, this was something dressed up in policy and procedure. I mean, it's like, this isn't policy procedure. This is a problem that you wanted to address, with regard to the chair and.
6 different departments complained. 6 different.
That's fine.
departments.
Make your argument. That's fine. It doesn't at this point. If you want to have a discussion of whether or not you want to be the chair, and
I'm not worried about that.
okay, you know what
This
is
was supposed to be a private thing saying there's been some complaints. Reconsider the way that you're addressing things and we move on.
I think you could do that in public.
yeah.
And that's fine. We are
Yeah,
doing it
we're
in
doing
public. I mean, if
we're
you're fine with it, then that's the person that has to have
I would
the
want,
most
I would want it out.
incentive to be in a closed session or not.
And now this is a public document.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the
That's
way,
fine.
the
That's
way.
fine. There's
our
nothing in
attorney
there that's
will come
terrible.
in, and Kelly, you can have mine if you want.
And I will say this, the complaints were also made to me by staff. So that is why I know some of the things that I brought up. And I assured the staff 100% that just because they're sharing this complaint and that at some point this will have to be shared with you, as you know, that there'll be absolutely no retaliation or anything against them, because that would be again
I
unlawful.
can't even imagine a
Yeah.
reason for
Yeah,
retaliation.
so exactly,
That doesn't-
because they're concerned.
Hear
and
these
so-
things,
yeah,
and we have.
Yeah.
We use our expertise to improve the processes here.
yeah.
I think that's all very positive.
And we bring that input into board discussions, and that's where it gets applied when we give our guidance to our staff. So, but obviously it goes without saying that there's not going to be any backlash against them or whatever, because that would be completely, that would create a whole new host of issues. Just, I think we have kind of discussed this quite in detail. So,
Public comment there.
yeah.
Is there anybody left? Public comment? All right, I think we're adjourned then.
All right.